Wow, I mean, that's powerful, and that could be a tangent in and of itself. But I get from experiencing reality TV shows that people do begin to shift their values around becoming famous or supporting themselves and their money and their finances and being big as the most important thing. And what you had said earlier that I thought was important to highlight was that you came to the realization you wanted to be in service for others.
Yes, and that's an interesting thing to come to when you say, well, this is really what it's all about. I find that when I work from that way, not only is it personally rewarding and very loving, the experiences are rewarding, but also there's positive. You can see a positive change. I feel that if any one of us sees something in our world that we would like to change or improve or give to or create, that's really in being in servitude. When you wish for the better of yourself as well as the world as a whole, those are I believe that once each individual did that within themselves and created that, even in the smallest way, it's a domino effect in the world.
Right. I can't help but agree with you. I think it's so important that so many people feel like if they are supporting themselves and thriving in these more holistic, of course, ways, that it's selfish, but that really they're both interconnected. As you evolve, it kind of brings more of that energy into the world, and as you're of service to others, you evolve more, and both are interconnected.
Yes, I do believe that. And fortunately, I did have a personal, I call it the catalyst experience. It's the one moment where you go, wait a second. And I was involved in a raid with the DEA in a doctor's office of all places. And a lot of times when I let people know the story, it really wasn't, I wasn't even in a dispensary, which is here in California, a medical marijuana dispensary or collective is a location where patients can get medicine, and the patients signed on as a collective where the group or the dispensary owner is growing their medicine specifically for them. It's kind of a different kind of legal setup. And because of the fact that the federal government does not recognize, or didn't at the time, even more so then, California's new law, Proposition 215, that legalized medical marijuana in the state of California, and because it's federally illegal according to the federal government, they would come in and raid certain dispensaries and many times not even really arrest anybody or shut them down, but would take things like product, medicine, and money and TVs and handcuff you and interrogate you and all that kind of stuff. And I came firsthand experiencing that happening. And when it did happen, I was, really had a moment where I went, wow, what's going on with my life? And I really felt that it was not an accident that it happened, and that for some reason I was supposed to witness it. And therein lies really the reason why I shifted in the direction that I'm in now.
Yeah, it's so powerful. I mean, so many of the guests I have on the show describe this type of synchronicity. And it's amazing that you extracted that meaning from it so that you could get that call to action and the call to be of service. Now, Terry, it seems like something unusual is happening on Blog Talk, where it looks like it's planning on ending our show in 2 minutes. It's not supposed to do that. So if that happens to all the listeners, I'm going to see if I could set up with Terry a part 2 that we'll just put on at a different time to have available to you, or a Skype call. So Terry, I'll call you right after this if that happens. But I just want everyone to be aware this has not happened to me before, so we'll see. We'll see how.
Well, I do know. I mean, I used to do a show on Blog Talk, and there should be like an extra hour past whatever the live show would be that you can work from an archive. There's like, if you have an hour show, I think it's like an extra hour that's actually really just available. It's just that it's not going to air live at the same time,
Okay.
but it will happen as an archive afterwards.
Perfect. Okay, so thanks for bearing with me, listeners. Technology sometimes confounds me, but that's the gift that I get to be speaking to a woman all the way across the country right now. So thanks for bearing with me, Terry, for all of my foibles today. So this is a pretty powerful moment. You have a moment, you're standing there, a raid is happening, and not only is there a raid, but you're witnessing in this moment a lot of injustices that are not just based on the legal system. Did I understand that right?
Yes. I found it to be very unjust, and I remember voting for medical marijuana to pass, and I was innocent, and I believed that the people around me were innocent too. They were some of the people who were handcuffed were patients, and employees that were working there. That I was with a man who worked for a doctor who does medical marijuana evaluations, and that's why I was there, because it's a strange story. It's kind of silly. I was on National Lampoon Radio, and I needed a ride. I didn't have the car at the time, and he gave me a ride, and we ran out of time, and I had to go to work with him. So I went over, and I went to the office, and that's when it happened. I mean, all of a sudden, I heard someone yell out, "It's a raid," and I looked down, and it was like a television show. It was very surreal. They were running up the stairs, and they had not just like, any gun is not nice, but
Right.
but they were the big machine. They were quite armed, and they just everybody from the dispensary ran into our room, and we were just down on our knees, locked down with our hands on our heads, and
wow.
Yeah. It was